Welcome back to the Gaming Castle. I'm Joel, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 2. Honestly, this is surreal. This is my first update video for the Gaming Castle. I've been watching people make Supercell update videos for years, and here's my chance to do my first one. It's kind of cool. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so first thing that I wanted to talk about is all of the new equipment that's coming to the game. So we're gonna have 3 new weapons. Basically the shot bow from the previous challenge. For those of you who remember the event, they're redoing that, which is basically like a shotgun weapon, but they're also changing the name. Then we have the poison bow, which is similar to the speed shot, except instead of when it charges its bar, it turns into a machine gun. It shoots 3 explosive arrows for its super. And then the third weapon, which is probably one of the most interesting, is essentially a melee version of the portable portal. And it decreases the gadget cooldown of all 3 of your gadgets. So then, as far as the gadgets are going, we're getting, I think, also 3 new ones for that as well. I know basically we're getting 2 turrets, which it's going to be interesting to see how that changes the game. So we're getting a damaging turret, and then we're also getting a damaging turret and also a healing turret. And then one other gadget, which I can't remember. I don't have all of the update stuff with me. This is most polished, but it is our first one here. And hopefully the YouTube channel keeps growing, and eventually I'll get access to a developer build, and we'll get to go a lot more in depth. But so then for the passives, so I think there's 2 passives coming to the game. One is basically it's called like a cactus revenge or whatever. And basically what it does, if you've played a game where it has like thorns, kind of like in Minecraft how there's thorns, when enemies hit you, you deal damage back to them, essentially. And then the other one is very similar to the life jacket, but in passive form. So it gives you shielding and also protects you from stuns. But it's also kind of like a thing that can get procced. So if an enemy attacks you, and it's just a small attack, then the airbag goes away, and then you can get stunned again. So it is kind of weak. They're also redoing the smart rings in a way that makes them a lot more intuitive. So there's going to be a weapon one that does more for the weapon and doesn't give general stats, and same for the gadget and the passive, and so these will allow you to have a little bit more customization with each ring, which I think will be really good, and also it simplifies things a little bit more. They also did a very similar thing to the pet ring, just kind of simplifying, streamlining, healing. And they also have this new concept called an executioner ring, which when enemies get below 20%, you basically deal extra damage to them. So that will be really cool to see how that plays. And then as far as the elite module, so you will not, after chapter 1 is ended, be able to get the elite dash module. So if you want to try and get any more upgrades to your elite dash module, which you get by getting higher elite hunter levels, I recommend doing it now because chapter 2 is dropping within the week. Typically Supercell does like a sneak peek week, and then the update drops the following week. So within the week we'll see this update, most likely. And so the other 2 elite modules that we're getting One of them is like a passive healing, which is pretty exciting. That one's going to really be beneficial as far as healing outside of battle is concerned. And trying to remember the other one, but honestly, I can't remember the other one. But they're making two, which is cool. Double the content. You're gonna have to have a reason to keep pushing Elite Hunter up past level 10 or whatever, because if you want to get all three elite modules, you'll have to push up to probably, if I had to guess, at least level 50. Also for chapter 2, the elite hunter, so you're going to lose all of your elite hunter program stuff. You know what? Maybe we'll make that the second part. So stay tuned for the second part of the update. All right, so second part of this update to be aware of is all of these Elite Hunter program things. Anything you see Elite Hunter program there, they are not going to be around. So, you want to go in and get all of your quests and, any projects you want to get done in here done, because they're going to go away. And the same thing is true for the smart rings. So, that's just something to be aware of. And, maybe some people are going to get caught off guard from it. Is that, all of those things are going to get reset. So that's something to be aware of as well. With this coming update is just that all of these elite worlds are going away. All of your current rings are going away. All of that. So if you have anything that you're trying to get done, any hard rifts, all the hard rifts and nightmare rifts, they're going away as well. So, if you're trying to push through the hard rifts or the nightmare rifts, which, I mean, honestly, I think they're a lot of fun, then, you really want to be, you really want to be, doing that now, because they're going to go away very soon. Like I said, we probably have about a week left before this update drops. So that's just something to be aware of. This is actually a pretty cool Portal of Power build. Just using using Sheldon as your, using Sheldon as your, gadget that you're redoing, because then we get to have two Sheldons on the map, which, doubles our life jacket effectiveness, which is pretty cool. So then we're getting lots of stuns from that. Now the Sheldons are tanking, which then allows me to fight while they stay alive and tank all the damage. Now I can shield again, can heal again. Respawning the one, and the other one will come off cooldown very soon. There we go, came off cooldown again. Lots of fun builds. One of the things I'm really most excited about in Chapter 2 is just the more content will allow us to be able to just make even more customization. The other thing is all of your gear that is now maxed at level 30 will be upgradable to level 50. So there's going to be tons more to do. I know my dad, one of the things he loves about games is just progressing, and there will be tons of progression to do in this next update. And yeah, if you haven't checked out the video where I have my dad on as a special guest, you should definitely check that one out, because that was a lot of fun. We're gonna have more of those coming in the future for sure. Fun stuff, building the YouTubes. It's kind of surreal that, like, I'm making a YouTube video about a Supercell game. Like, I just did not think this would ever happen, but, here we are making YouTube videos about Supercell games. I mean, like, I was, like, I don't know, a little kid when Clash of Clans was first out, and, now here I am as an adult making YouTube videos about it. Yeah, so that's, the existential moment. But existential moment aside, it's gonna be interesting to see in this coming update, what all takes place. So yeah, I'll see you guys back for the third piece of what's changing. All right, so wrapping things up. Last things that are changing, obviously, we're going to have a lot more in here for the worlds, the rifts, the dojos, and also they're redoing PvP. I really think this is worth talking about. So the current PvP system, there's too many game modes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 possible modes that you can go into. And, separate belts for each. The belts don't feel super important. I mean, I have a journey to black belt going on, and honestly, at this point, I don't know if I'm gonna finish the journey to black belt. But it's tough because it's just they don't feel like the progression doesn't feel as significant as I think it needs to really motivate people to want to play Versus, which is a shame because like the Versus, I think they've done a really good job on it, but they're trying a new system, right? So they're gonna have solos, duos, teams, and 10v10, and you'll get to queue up, and there will be different maps probably for each, and I think it's gonna lead to a lot less bots and just overall a lot more playing, which is going to be great. And then also just they're going to have titles. So when you get to a certain, like once you get to black belt, you're going to get a title for that, which is going to be really cool. I think that's a really good system overall for the game. I think it's just going to make it a lot better to want to play Versus, which is something that I think the game is lacking right now. So I'm really excited to see that. Try and break it down and see if I can find kind of a science to those Versus modes as well. I really feel like I have the solos in this current map or meta or whatever you want to say, this first chapter of Moko figured out. And in chapter 2, I think it's just going to be a lot more polished, which is cool. That's really cool to see. So, yeah, I'm excited for Chapter 2. Overall, I think they're fixing everything they need to fix in the game. And, yeah, I think it's going to be really, really good. I'm just going to close out, finishing up this Versus here. Getting first again, getting a little closer to black belt. Not sure whether I'm going to get there before the update drops or not, but it's definitely... nice to have it figured out as I sit in my bot lobby, and we're just crushing the bots. We're crushing the bots for another 50 seconds, and then we'll end off video because I don't feel like, just to break the fourth wall in order to end the video, have to actually turn power my phone down basically to end the video because of the recording software that I use. So full compression, I'm just trying to finish up this match before we close out. But if you guys like the content that I'm making, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments about what you're excited about in Chapter 2. I think there's tons of things to be excited about. I didn't even mention, they're redoing the social element of the game. They're going to make it easier to play with people. They're going to add more faces, more cosmetics. I mean, it's just more of everything that we want. And, yeah, it's exciting. All right, see y'all back again for the next video.